Right now, I'm flying over Buenos Aires. And honestly, this is not what most people expect South America to look like. Down there is Puerto Madero, the modern waterfront district. You've got calm river channels, glass buildings reflecting the morning light, and this massive stretch of city that just keeps going. And right in the middle of it, the iconic Puente de la Mujer, the woman's bridge. From above, the city looks split in two. One side feels modern, clean, almost futuristic. The other side, older, denser, more chaotic. And that contrast? That's basically Buenos Aires in one frame. Today, I'm going to walk through all of it. Let's go. I'm stepping into the city streets, and you can feel the shift immediately. The silence of the river is gone. Now it's traffic, people, movement, noise. But it doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels alive. I just walked into this small local cafe in Buenos Aires, and it already feels like a little hidden spot. I ordered a coffee and a simple dessert, nothing fancy, just something to slow down for a minute. Now I'm sitting here by the window, watching the street go by, sunlight coming in, people passing outside. And honestly, it's such a nice break for the coming one day, walking around the city. The coffee is warm, the dessert is sweet, and everything just feels calm for a moment. Yeah, this is the kind of simple travel moment I really love. All right, I just arrived at one of the most iconic landmarks in Buenos Aires, the Obelisco. And yeah, it's exactly as dramatic as it looks. It stands right in the middle of this massive avenue, surrounded by constant traffic, billboards, and people moving in every direction. There's something interesting here. This isn't a quiet landmark you admire. This is a place the city moves around. It feels like a pulse point. Like if Buenos Aires had a heartbeat, this would be it. Now I've arrived at Plaza de Mayo, and the atmosphere completely changes again. It's more open, slower, more historical. People are everywhere, students, tourists, locals just sitting around. And right in front of me is the Casa Rosada, the pink presidential palace. It doesn't feel cold or intimidating like many government buildings. It actually feels almost soft, human. This square has seen protests, celebrations, and some of Argentina's most important historical moments. But today, it just feels like everyday life is happening on top of history. And that's what makes it powerful. Walking out from the square, the city starts to change again. And this is where Buenos Aires gets really interesting. The architecture suddenly feels European. Tall stone buildings, ornate balconies, symmetrical facades. For a moment, it honestly feels like I'm in Paris or Madrid. Every building here feels intentional, detailed, heavy with history. And the streets, they carry that old world rhythm. This city doesn't just have history. It looks like history. It's May 8th late morning in Buenos Aires, and the weather is honestly perfect. Bright sunshine, blue sky, and that warm city breeze that just makes you want to keep walking. I'm just strolling through the streets right now, and wow, this place looks way more European than I expected. Old buildings, beautiful balconies, stone details everywhere. It seriously feels like I somehow ended up in Spain or Italy. But what I love is the vibe here. It's lively, but not stressful. People are out grabbing coffee, chatting on the street, shopping, just doing their thing like it's the most normal, relaxed day ever. There's sounds everywhere, cars passing by, sunlight bouncing off the buildings. Everything just feels full of life. And yeah, this is one of those cities where you don't really need a plan. You just walk, and the city keeps surprising you every few steps. Right now, I'm standing outside what looks like an ordinary building in Buenos Aires, but inside is something completely unexpected. This is El Ateneo Grand Splendid, often called one of the most beautiful bookstores in the world. Wow, the moment you step inside, it doesn't feel like a bookstore at all. It used to be a theater, and you can still feel it: gold details, red curtains, and these massive balconies all around. Books now fill the space where the audience once sat, and the old stage has been turned into a cafe. So you can literally sit where performances used to happen and read a book. It feels quiet, but incredibly alive. Right now, I'm inside the Teatro Colón in Buenos Aires, and it honestly feels like stepping into another world. The moment you enter, everything changes: gold details, red velvet seats, massive ceilings, and this incredible old European design. This is one of the most famous opera houses in the world, and the acoustics here are legendary. Even when it's quiet, the space feels like it's still echoing with music. I actually caught a rehearsal happening inside, and for a moment, the whole building just came alive. This isn't just a theater, it's history, art, and sound all in one place. Right now, I'm at Guerin in Buenos Aires, and this place is absolutely buzzing. I mean, look at this. It's packed. It's loud. Everyone's eating, talking, laughing. Zero tourist vibe, 100% local energy. And I'm just sitting here in the middle of all this chaos, eating pizza, soaking in the vibe. And yeah, this feels like a pretty perfect Buenos Aires moment. I just got a slice of classic Argentine pizza, straight out of the oven, thick crust, loads of cheese, super simple, but it smells insane. Okay, first bite. Wow, this is way heavier and cheesier than it looks. Now I'm in San Telmo, the old district of Buenos Aires, and the vibe here is completely different. Narrow streets, vintage buildings, street art, small bars, antique shops. It feels raw, unpolished, real. You'll hear music coming from corners, see performers on the street, smell food mixing with old brick walls and dust. This is the kind of place you don't rush through. You just walk out and let it happen. I've just stepped into a local market area, and this is probably one of the most authentic parts of the city. Fruit stalls, small restaurants, souvenir shops, clothing stores, all packed together. It's loud, colorful, chaotic, but in a good way. There's a shared dining area where locals are just sitting, eating, talking. No performance, no tourism filter, just daily life. And honestly, this is where you really understand a city. Not in its landmarks, but in its routine. I've now made my way deeper into a local market here in Buenos Aires, and the vibe just keeps getting more intense the further I walk in. It's this mix of noise, color, and movement everywhere. You've got fruit stalls stacked with fresh produce, small food counters cooking right in front of you, and tiny shops packed with clothes, souvenirs, and random everyday items. What's interesting is how naturally everything blends together. One minute you're passing a butcher stand. Next to that, someone's grabbing a quick snack, and right beside it, people are just sitting down eating and talking like they've got all the time in the world. It feels a bit chaotic at first, but then you realize it actually works perfectly. There's this constant flow of people, locals doing their shopping, families walking through, vendors calling out, bags being packed. And the smell, it's a mix of fresh fruit, grilled food, and street cooking that just pulls you deeper in. No tourist setup, no polished presentation, just real daily life happening at full speed. And the more I walk through it, the more I feel like this is where you really understand a city, not from the landmarks, but from moments like this. I'm just walking out of the local market now, and it's kind of interesting how the energy changes the moment you step outside. Inside, it was loud, crowded, and full of movement, but out here, everything suddenly feels a bit more open and calm again. You still hear the city in the background, cars passing, people talking, life going on, but it's not as intense anymore. And I think that contrast is what makes it special. One minute you're in the middle of pure chaos in daily life, and the next you're back on a quiet street just a few steps away. I've got a bag with a few things I picked up, still smelling a bit of that food and fresh produce from inside. And yeah, it's one of those moments where you realize how quickly a city can switch moods. Buenos Aires just keeps doing that. Busy, then calm, then busy again. And somehow it all feels connected. Right now, I'm sitting inside a steakhouse just a few steps away from the Obelisco in Buenos Aires. So today, I went with a classic Argentine steak cut. And honestly, it already feels special. One minute you're walking through the busy city streets, and the next, you're sitting down at a table like this. And then there are the small sides. Nothing overly complicated, just simple starters like salad, pickled vegetables, and a few sauces. The key here is the sauce called chimichurri. It's made with herbs, garlic, vinegar, and oil. And it's not meant to overpower the meat, it's meant to enhance it. That's kind of the philosophy here. Keep it simple, let the beef speak. And the staff is super relaxed but professional. They just ask how you want it cooked. I went for medium rare because honestly, when you're in Argentina, you kind of trust the process. The beef quality here is just on another level. All right, first bite. Okay, this is exactly what Argentine beef is known for. It's incredibly clean in flavor. Not overly seasoned, not masked with heavy sauces, just pure beef taste. The texture is tender but still has a nice bite to it, and when you add a bit of chimichurri on top, it completely opens up another layer, herby, slightly tangy, very fresh. It's simple but really effective. After a few bites, I can say, first, high quality beef. The base product is already excellent. Second, perfect grilling technique, you get that balance of crust and juiciness. And third, value. Compared to many places around the world, this is actually very reasonably priced for the quality you're getting. It feels like something locals can enjoy regularly, not just a luxury experience. And I also have to mention the service very relaxed. It kind of makes you understand the city in a different way. If you ask me what Buenos Aires tastes like, I'd say it tastes like this steak. Simple, honest, and unforgettable. Simple, juicy, full of flavor, nothing overcomplicated, just really good food done right. Honestly, this might be one of those meals I'll still remember long after the trip ends.